we're heading out, hear the battle drums. Carrier drops in these war-torn grounds. The sky is filled with a deafening sound. Loadouts checked, our nerves are tight. It's chaos out there, but we're ready to fight. Outnumbered, outgunned, our ships torn asunder. Canopy smashed, but we won't go under. They're too many and we're too few. Is this fight too much for us to break through? In the fray, canopy's gone as the swarm comes to play. Heat overwhelmed, systems start to fail. They're closing in fast, their strength prevails. Too many to count, and far too strong. This might be the end, we may not have long. Outnumbered, outgunned, our ships torn asunder. Canopy smashed, but we won't go under. There are too many and we're too few. Is this fight too much for us to break through? With a fire, a light breaks through. We look to each other, we know what to do. Training kicks in, we form our ranks. Together we stand, there's no turning back. Outnumbered, outgunned, our ships torn asunder. Canopy smashed, but we won't go under. There are too many and we're too few. Is this fight too much for us to break through?
'07 Commanders, glory to mankind. Welcome to this stream. We are here with a good representation of Xeno Strike Force, and we're going to be dissecting and chatting about the latest Frontier devlog, in which the roadmap for 2026 was announced. The latest ship, the Kestrel, a small fighter, was unveiled. Number of additional information about operations. The next big feature was illustrated, and a number of other things were introduced. So, in no particular order, since like folks here on the call, and by the way, you can see their name light up in the right of the screen they talk. Were asking me, so like, what's the agenda? Like, do you have like talking points and bullet points that you want to talk about? And I was like, no, I don't. I should have probably make for a more structured discussion, but I don't. Instead, I only have like the video on stream that I can bring up. And again, welcome everybody to the stream. Let's see if I can bring it up. I think I managed to bring it up somehow. This is the Kestrel, so maybe we can start here. Kestrel Mark II, actually. So Kestrel was a ship in the original Frontier games. And this is a small fighter that has two small hardpoints, as you can see from the ones that were just deployed with multi-cannons now. And then it has three additional hardpoints. We've already
had a quick look at the...
And the first question, guys, is that I have for us is, well, I think we all agree that the two hardpoints in the front are small. But what about the other three? Are those medium or large hardpoints?
They're definitely large hardpoints. For sure.
For sure. Because like I think they're shown somehow later in the stream. Let's see if I can pull it up.
Well, if you show that other clip again, you can see all three of the other hardpoints fire at the same time with a long delay after the small hardpoints fire. They're all multi-cannons. Large multi-cannons have a longer spin-up than the other size multi-cannons.
Okay.
So I'm fairly confident, at least with what they showed us, it's 3 large, 2 small.
3 large, 2 small. Which, I have to say, for a small ship is like a freaking flying gunboat, right? Because the Vulture has 2 large, but that's like the most gunned small ship that exists out there right now. I mean, the Cobra Mark V has 1 more hardpoint, but they're all medium and small. 3 large hardpoints is it's quite the thing, I want to say. I'm trying to find like the clip where it shows the side weapon mount, but I can't quite find it right now. So if I can find it later in the stream. And so, I mean, a big debate that was going on is if this thing is going to be so upgunned that it's going to have like 3 large and 2 small hardpoints. I mean, what is going to fit in terms of power plant and power distributor? I think one thing I was doing, and you guys were tagging along Oh, this is not the clip I had in mind, but I'll find it. One thing I was doing was I was looking at fuel consumption in one of the few clips that that showed the head-up display from inside the Kestrel. Oh, there it is. I think I found it. So this
Your large ships, it packs a lot of firepower on such a small frame.
This is a small multi-cannon.
One of the new modules that we've got for is we've got a Mark II weapon that's going to come with it.
Well, we'll come back to this one because this is like one of the new weapons. So this one we'll talk about in a moment after we're gonna talk about the other things of the ship. But now I'm failing catastrophically at bringing up the. Oh, there you go, head-up display. So this is a head-up display. So you can see in the bottom right corner the fuel consumption of a ship, which is 2.12 tons per hour. Now, one thing that Elite Dangerous ships consistently have is they have a direct correlation between fuel consumption and megawatts in use of power grid. So if you know the fuel consumption, you know how much power grid is being used by the ship. And assuming this is an A-rated power plant, that relationship is 0.08. So if I do the calculations correctly, I'll take 2.12 and divide it by 0.08. That gives you, I didn't do it correctly because I fat fingered it. 2.12 divided 0.08 gives you 26.5. Is that possible? Or am I doing this incorrectly? All right, what is 26.5? We can go to Etsy and it'll tell us like what kind of power plant has 26.5 of power grid in an A configuration. Like take 5A. 5A has what? I need to scroll to the kind of right side somehow. My screen is too small. It's gonna show. No, it's gonna show it on screen. But maybe somebody can do it live. I think the debate is whether this is a 4A or a 5A power plant. And my guess is that this is going to be a class 5 power plant because the Cobra Mark V has a class 4 and it has significantly smaller guns than this thing. So with that kind of power grid in use, my hypothesis is this is a class 5 power plant. But what about the power distributor? I mean, the Cobra Mark V, which is the ship that this thing is going to be compared to more often than not, has a class 4 power distributor. Do you guys think that this is also going to have a class 4, or do you think they're going to give it a bigger power distributor?
I think it's going to be larger because that custom weapon, I think, if I remember correctly, produces a lot of heat, so it'd have to mitigate that somehow.
So a 5A power plant with no engineering comes out at 20.4 megawatts. At grade 5 overcharged, you're talking 28.56.
Yeah, so it's got to be a class 5, right? If I did the math correctly.
Yeah, but looking at that video, there's no shield on that ship.
Well, the shield doesn't matter because the shield has its own power grid usage. So if you had a shield, it would be factored in the power consumption and it would be factored in the fuel usage. The number is 0.08, but I can't remember honestly top of my head if that 0.08 is for A-rated, and whether it's just engineering or like what the specific 0.08 is for. So there's some things to confirm here about like my calculations back in the day, but it's gonna be in that general ballpark because the thermal efficiency of power plants doesn't change so dramatically. So yeah, I think we probably are in the ballpark of a class 5 power plant. Or even class 6, if like, but based on the numbers that void coefficient you were just mentioning. But the real question in the back of my head is like the power distributor, because like if they give this thing a class 5 or larger power distributor, I think Xeno, this is I think you may have to abandon your FAS love for this new core dynamics beast of a small ship. Right?
Oh, absolutely. I'll never completely get rid of the FAS because it's the one true ship, but this will be probably my Corsair Hunter.
Yeah, because like honestly, if you give this thing 3 pacifiers plus 2 whatever what small weapons would you give it together with a pacifier? I don't even know.
Probably
like,
a feedback rail.
Feedback rail?
Yeah, some utility weapons probably. So yeah, feedback rail for bank canceling or something.
Yeah,
Maybe
a feedback
Cytos, I
rail
don't
and maybe a corrosive frag.
A corrosive, yeah, a corrosive gun and a feedback rail, small feedback rail. That makes sense. Oh, probably if these are small guns, so we might have to give it 2 feedback rails to actually do anything meaningful as far as feedback is concerned. So it's like two small feedback rails or some corrosive thing with a feedback rail. So 2 utility guns in the small, and then you have 3 pacifiers on a ship that basically is slated to handle better than a Cobra Mark V. And looking at its profile, probably has an even smaller silhouette and smaller footprint than the Cobra Mark V, right? So I mean, this thing is it's gonna be hard to hit, right? I mean, look at how thin of a profile it has, right? It's
from
wide.
the front, the winglets seem very, very thin. I think if you get like the top or underside, they feel fairly broad for the profile, but also it is a small ship in general, so good luck.
Yeah, I know. I think if you can get it on the side, you might be able to hit it, but the
front is very slim.
So I was looking at the anatomy of the ship, all right, comparing it to existing models that are already in the game. The cockpit and the front wings look like an eagle. The nose looks like a Python too, and the tail looks like a skimmer.
It does look like a skimmer. Yeah, I had the same reaction. I also, who wants to bet that they get the roll thruster direction wrong like they did on the Corsair on the first pass? My money is they get it wrong, but who knows? Maybe they get it right. I do like the animation on these things a lot. Like they showed it later in the stream. I think this thing here, you can see it.
So the actual
it's really good.
Gimbal, as the ship
it's too bad that you're never going to see it in
pitches,
game because you're never going to see it. But it looks really cool. So like, I think that's a really nice.
They did remind me a lot of the repulsor technology from Iron Man in the Avengers movie.
Yeah, and even the what's the name? The Nabucodonosor, like the ship in the Matrix, right? It's like I think that's the inspiration. That's totally inspiration. And then like so the other thing that I want to point out is the weapon convergence. So the weapon convergence is interesting, right? Because it has 4 weapon converging at the bottom somehow, if you can see here, which look like they have really good convergence actually. And then they have a completely out of whack top hard point that is probably going to be very good for flat cannons, but not very good for much else, I would guess. Because that thing isn't going to converge, not even if you're shooting at 12 kilometers away. So...
I mean, they converge fairly well. It's mostly here because, I mean, it is a small ship anyways, right? They are more
not
the
as
sides.
big as the FAS's gap.
Yeah,
Because
like they are on the sides of a ship, but it is a small size ship. Also, in this particular clip here on the screen, I mean, they don't really have anything targeted that's, you know, especially close or anything, so you just see like the neutral setting.
Yeah, it's a neutral setting. What is a neutral setting, by the way? Does anybody know? Like, what's a neutral convergence
I think
setting
it's 500 meters.
Really? That close? Huh, okay.
None needs, it has to be further, right?
I don't think it is.
I have no idea. I actually think it is pretty close up, but I have no idea if it is 500 meters. One of the many things to test. See, we ran out of these calls like with 6 experiments to do in the game about new things.
Yes. The important information is: can you snipe hearts with the left and right at the same time?
Well, I think you probably can. I mean, that looks better than the crate, and the crate can do it, right? So if a crate can do it, that should be able to do it. But talking about sniping and hearts and Fargoid combat, it's impossible to ignore this thing. This presumably large Mark II Guardian. So they said it's based on the shard cannon, but I think it's actually called Plasma in the. It's called Mark II Plasma SH something, right? So it's either Plasma Shock Cannon or Plasma Shard Cannon or Plasma, which is super confusing because, I mean, typically in anti-Xeno combat you have Shard Cannons and then you have Plasma Chargers. So Plasma something is kind of weird. Maybe, as Viki's saying in the chat, it is Shock Cannons. Like,
yeah, I read somewhere that it is Plasma Shock something.
Did you read it? Where? Where did you read it? Plasma shock? Maybe they said it.
I think it was in something that one of the elite partners wrote on their Discord. I don't remember who.
I suspect a bit of
same
fluff to overcome ammunition issues. If you look at the Mark II weapons that have been brought into the game, they're all quite OP. So if you brought in a shard cannon for a small, ammo is going to be an issue fairly quick. If you make it a plasma slug system, you overcome the problem.
Yeah, I think, honestly, shock cannons are pretty fun. The problem is they're overheat like crazy, and obviously ammo runs out. Well, they say it in the video, saying Hibiki. So it is plasma shock cannon, something like that. It's based on the experimental shock cannon. But does the shock cannon work that way? I don't know. Anyway, let's have a look
Strong,
at this.
so it's not got as high shields or armor as like your mediums and your large ships. It packs a lot of firepower on such a small frame.
So forget the
One of the new modules that we've got for is we've got a Mark II weapon that's going to come with it, and it's based off of the shock cannons, which some of our players might be familiar with.
So they say it's based off of the shock cannons. That's the precise quote. Let's see.
And one of the big unique features about it is it's got a built-in plasma slug special, which basically means that it's taking its ammo from your fuel tank. So
let's watch this again because I want to see it.
It's sort of even though it's not as.
Oh, this is, by the way, the side mount I was talking about. Like, this is pretty sizable.
Good amount of firepower as well to sort of compete with the larger ships. So it's sort of even though it's not as strong, so it's not got as high shields or armor as
so
like your mediums and your large ships.
Top fires
a lot of firepower on such a
like
small frame.
Burst fire.
One of the new modules that we've got for is we've got a Mark II weapon that's going to come with it, and it's based off.
It
of
looks
the
like
shock
frag
cannons,
pellets,
which
but
some of our players might be familiar with. And one of the big unique features about it is it's got a built-in plasma slug.
It reminds me a bit of the way the Concorde cannon shoots, but obviously completely different ammo.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, it does it reminds me more of Concorde cannons, almost with a triple shot than the shock cannons. I guess if you manually burst fire shock cannons, maybe, but if you just held down shock cannons, it wouldn't fire this way. And this one looks like it really fires in burst mode.
Speaking of fuel, we also have.
By the way, hold on. I want to see like the spread of this weapon. By the way,
and one of the big unique features about it is it's got a built-in plasma slug special, which basically means that it's taking its ammo from your fuel tank. So as long as you've got fuel, you've basically got infinite ammo.
Speaking of fuel, we also have Mark II thrusters, which.
Speaking of fuel, we have Mark II thrusters. I'm not sure it's like speaking of fuel, but whatever. Speaking of like engines, I guess they use fuel, so that's a correlation. But anyway, I mean, first of all, is this an AX weapon, guys, or is this just a shock cannon with?
No, it's plasma because it is plasma slug by default, so it uses fuel. I think that's why they called it this way.
That's correct.
It uses fuel as ammunition.
So this is like a plasma repeater of some kind, right?
Kind of, yeah. Like a frag
with
repeater gun. Yeah.
Why is this interesting? Is this interesting? Does this thing look like it's interesting?
I think it's just new and shiny.
Huh?
I think it's just new and shiny.
Yeah, but
it's the PV equivalent of the mining cannon, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a PvE weapon. I want to say, because plasma slug really only matters in PvE, right?
Definitely.
And I mean, it's a PvE weapon. You load it with fuel, and it's kind of pretty short range, right? Because I mean, it's like
slug.
If you look at it, like the spread is so bad that look at he's shooting at Python. What's the range? What do we estimate that range to be? For me, that's
about
between
400 meters.
I was going to say close. Like 500 meters, right? That's not going to be more than 500 meters, right? He's shooting a Python at 500 meters, and look at the spread.
It's ammo from your fuel.
Hold on. Look at the beginning.
Your large ships, it packs a lot of firepower on such a small frame.
I think this new weapon solves two problems for newer players where it kind of circumvents engineering and power play.
Which some of our players
you buy the ship and then you've got this really fancy new weapon to play with.
look at this. Okay, actually, see if I can go like one frame behind this because it's
with,
see if I can pause it exactly in the frame that I wanted to like pause. Like this is like a salvo of
modules
like,
that we've got for is
free
we've got
burst
a Mark II weapon
like
that's going to come with it,
some
and
number
it's
of pellets
based
at
off
each
of
burst.
the shot cannons,
I can
which some of our
frame it
players might be
exactly
familiar with. And one of the big unique.
See, okay, I freeze frame it pretty close. I mean, look at the triangle spread pattern of this thing at 500 meters, right? That thing, this is probably like, what, 3 degrees gimbal? 3 degrees of, not gimbal, of, what's the technical term in the game? Jitter. 3-degree jitter. Something like this. Like,
is that all off this weapon though? Because I see orange pellets in there, and this weapon fires purple pellets, and the
yeah, no, this comes from this weapon. This, I mean, you can see it again.
It's got packs a lot of firepower on such a small
I think
frame.
that's definitely the weapon. You can
one
see
of the
it's
new
the only weapon
modules that we've got for is we've got a Mark II weapon that's going to come with it, and it's based off of the shot cannons, which some of our players might be familiar with. And one of the big unique.
You're right. I was wrong. You're right. Good catch, Void. This is 3 guns, not 1 gun. So basically, 1 gun only has this spread of. Then it's much better than I thought. It's much better than I thought. Like the spread, this is not 3 degrees of gimbal. This is mod shot level, like cluster or burst. Like it's very good. I want to say.
Features about it is it's got.
I mean, still not exactly the weapon you use to kind of like snipe modules, but you can hit things at least, which doesn't entail just shooting the broadside of the
slug special, which basically means that it's taking.
I think the other cool thing about this ship is it also appeals to more skilled players with the maneuverability and FA off. You can have maneuverable superiority and get really good firing angles on NPCs.
Yeah, this I mean, I think by the way, you hit a nail on the head on one of the points that I thought was about this ship, which is I really like the idea of a high skill ceiling, but very fragile ship that basically says if you are really good, this is like the best ship to use. However, the moment you get hit, the moment you're not paying attention, you're basically dead. So like high skill, high risk, high reward kind of gameplay, like which would be nice because like honestly, they kind of made the point that this ship doesn't have as much hull as some of the others. Plus, by the way, if you need to load it up with fuel, because you need fuel to kind of ammo up this weapon, then that means sacrificing hit points because like you would use otherwise the space for HRPs, which you're not going to be using.
Well, the question is, what do you believe what fuel tank it comes with and its size?
Good question. My guess is because they're selling this thing, they're going to give it a pretty unreasonably big fuel tank.
I mean, wait, at what fuel tank does the fuel bar have little sections?
I don't remember, but relatively soon. Right? I also have to say the fuel consumption of weapons varies, right? So not every weapon has the same fuel consumption when you put plasma slug onto it. Medium rails have comparatively low. Hammer rails have 3 times the fuel consumption because every shot of a hammer counts as the same fuel consumption of normal rails. And plasma accelerators have a much higher per shot fuel consumption of fuel per shot. I have a number somewhere, but they're remarkably different. So, I mean, yes, there's how much fuel they give it, but there's also how they set the fuel consumption of this weapon. So it could set it as low as, you know, a small rail, or they could set it as high as a huge plasma accelerator, and obviously the difference would be massive. Let's see, there's some people in the... People are generally saying they love plasma slug, which I agree. We're talking about plasma repeaters on the SLFs. They're asking basically what's the damage partition. I think nobody knows, Laurent, on what's the damage split for this weapon. God knows. I mean, plasma in general is tied to a significant component of absolute damage. That's what plasma accelerators do. Whether that translates to this weapon, which also would do absolute damage or not, who knows? At this point, it's like wild speculation. The question
I'm very curious.
Well, that's a good question, whether the hardpoint is tied to the gun specifically or whether it's going to be available for all weapons. I sincerely hope it's available for all weapons because locking this ship to only use this new plasma repeater thingy in the large hardpoints, to me, basically makes it an PvE only ship, if that is the case, and that would really make it suck, like big time. because there's much better ships for PvE than this one, as fun as this one could be. I mean, this is probably, yeah, no, that would be a huge own goal.
They showed multi-cannons in the large hardpoint slots, so I think you're going to be able to put anything.
You're right. Good call. See, this is why many brains is better than one brain when you have these discussions. And
also, Hibiki just wrote in chat that a class 4 fuel tank has apparently the minibars. So it needs to be at least class 5 fuel tank, because it doesn't have a fuel bars like the minibars in the footage.
So class 4 is 16. Class 5 is 32 tons. That's a lot of fuel. The Cobra Mark 5 has a class 4. So...
Yeah, the DBX has got a class 5, for example.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if the fuel tank is optimized for weapons to use plasma fuel, or because if that's the case, then I wonder if it's a new fuel tank specifically designed for the ship that can be used with other weapons too.
Hibiki, where are you seeing 7.18? I've never seen 7.18 on this ship. That would put it in like Anaconda territory as far as power grid consumption is concerned. I don't think so. I saw 2 point something. Maybe you made a typo with your 7.18, or maybe you saw something I didn't, because that would be quite something. I mean, if you click here,
shields
that's
or
850.
850. All right, now I want to go there and read it out. Let's see.
Game. Yeah, and we've also given it a good amount of firepower as well to sort of compete with the larger ships. So it's sort of even though it's not as strong, so it's not got as high shields or armor.
Yeah, it's jumping all over the place.
It's jumping all over the place. It's jumping all over the
guns.
Shooting the guns spikes the power grid use. What the heck? I've never seen anything behave like that in game. I mean, typically fuel consumption is pretty fixed in normal space. It's based on the megawatts in use of your power grid. If you deploy hardpoints, it goes up because your power grid use goes up. But that's really the only way you can, or if you turn off modules, it goes down. But that's really the only way you can affect your power grid usage.
It's probably because they are plasma slugs that consume fuel.
I did join just to say that it is plasma slugs that make you do that.
Bingo.
That's what happens with plasma slugs. Okay, bye.
Well, then we could probably also calculate how much fuel they use based on what we're seeing here in terms of like, you guys are too smart for me. You all are too smart for me. See, that completely flew past me. I had no idea.
Yeah,
I did not notice that.
A good amount of firepower as well to sort of compete with the larger ships. So it's sort of even though it's not.
What does it go up to? How do I step back? Can I step back? Ooh, that's too much. How do I on YouTube go back like?
I think period and
period and
comma.
Like one frame at a time. There you go. Thank you. See, you also know YouTube better than me. So it spikes up. So this is the first frame it shoots up, right? So it shoots up from 0. What the heck is that? 0.80? 0.80, and it goes up to 7.66 per hour, right? So how does this calculate? Is it calculated based on a per frame basis? I think it is, because it goes right down afterwards, right? But it's averaged over some period of time. Who knows what is this average based on? Now I want to kind of try with plasma slug railcon and see how it behaves. You know, I never believe it. Like I have 4,000 hours in Elite Dangerous. I never noticed this behavior, and I've used slug plenty. So crazy. Like you kind of learn something.
I mean, I would imagine with the single shots of the slug rails, that's probably not very noticeable if it's that quick.
Yeah, that's
because these are like little bursts that last a while, and the number does go count down fairly quickly. So maybe it's just
not a lot of fuel.
Not very noticeable. With
I know with using Imperial hammers with rail slugs, it just chews through fuel. So.
Yeah, because hammers basically use free, but you can see because like you can like if you shoot hammers, you can see the small fuel bar, the one at the top, visibly decrease, right? Versus here, if you shoot them, the small fuel bar barely moves, which means the internal fuel tank of this thing is practically not moving at all. And the internal fuel tank is what? It's 1 ton for almost all ships, right? There's only, I think, one ship that has a different internal fuel tank for some reason, which I don't understand, by the way. and I can't remember which one it is. It's one of those super wonky elite things that you either know or you don't know, and it doesn't matter probably because you're never going to care about it ever in your life. Yeah, it's kind of crazy stuff.
I mean, how many of the plasma slug guns is it shooting there?
3?
In that footage. Is it shooting all 3?
Just one. Just one.
Looks like a...
The other are multi-cannons.
Okay.
The other are multi-cannons.
Okay.
Maybe,
yeah, then...
maybe like, I'm not going to use one because like 3 would show the fuel go down too fast.
Maybe.
I don't know. Anyway.
Well, the plasma shock might also be very fuel efficient, but also, yeah, in this clip, it's only one shooting, it looks like, so.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, it's interesting. So, I mean, this is, again, a PvE weapon, which means this ship is essentially designed as a PvE fighter who I think probably will find a surprising amount of use in PvP. What about AX, guys? Do you see a use for AX for this thing? Or no?
If you fly this thing in AX and the Thargoid shoots at you one time, you have failed. There is absolutely no reason, with the way Thargoids behave right now, to get shot at once.
So, I mean, I will say one thing, guys. Just look at the convergence, and look at the convergence of it, particularly 4 weapon slots that are at the bottom. To me, this means only one thing as far as the ideal weapon setup for this ship in anti-Xeno combat. What do you think I'm going to say about that?
2 medium.
2 medium, 2 small.
Yeah, guys, this is definitely made. This is definitely made for 2 medium, 2 small gals. I mean, look at that. You have perfect convergence down the bottom for 2 medium, 2 small with a like class 4, class 5 power distributor, which is maybe class 5s, which is the one of a Mandalay, by the way. So you can't really mount more gals than that. I mean, you could go mod shots, but then the third mod shot at the top would basically not do much. Small mod shots suck. So, yeah, man, they made this ship for 2 medium and 2 small gals, I think, as far as AX weaponry is concerned. Like,
so that new hardpoint, all right, I got a suspicion it's going to be just for this new Mark II style weapon. Do you like the same with the 11?
I mean, they do have multi-cannons on it.
Yes, so look at this. They have multi-cannons on the hardpoints. Boy, someone was calling it out earlier.
Just the Mark II slot, the top center.
You think only
they had a multi-cannon on that one before too?
They show a multi-cannon when the ship passes by. I think in this one here, this is multi-cannon, right? No, this is not a multi-cannon. But when it passes by, there was a multi-cannon in the flyby somewhere, I think, at the beginning or somewhere.
From what I've seen, there was multi-cannons in all of the slots at one point, and there was also the new repeater slug tail cannon in all of the large slots at some point. They have some on the side ones as well.
See this one? See this one, boy? That's not the new repeater. See, it's firing from the top.
Okay.
See, this is I think this is a multi-cannon.
Well, the top slot would be the thermal vent beam laser.
Yeah.
Because
the convergence would be off.
Yeah. It's to me, the top one is either flak or like if you're doing solo combat, I think that's a perfect spot for flak. It's basically a reverse chieftain. Like a chieftain has a nose slot, which is completely out of whack for convergence, and this thing has a top slot, which is completely out of whack for convergence. Yeah.
Also, regarding the maneuverability earlier, I'm not sure that this ship is really gonna be that high skill ceiling. Because I have a feeling that, well, the way they describe that it becomes way more agile when it boosts, and knowing the designers like behind, like at FDev and like their target audience, I believe his ship is also going to be incredibly maneuverable during boosts, even with FA on in mind.
I believe that.
I believe that too. Yeah. I mean, look, boost multiply. So yeah, but wait. Xeno, Iki is in the chat and saying hello on Twitch.
Oh, howdy.
So, few things, complicated things. So, we should be able, by the way, by looking at the frame, like if we were gonna like really sort of like super nerd out, which we obviously never do, because like we're definitely not a group of nerds. we could be able to tell from actually the clips like what the rotational speed of this thing is.
The larger ships, so it's.
But where is it? I think I don't know if they do a hard turn here. You can see, unfortunately, from the HUD, because flying is hard.
I think that's what they're going to really love about it.
So it can yaw. So here you can see sort of like here you can see that the ship can yaw, unlike the crate and something.
So what kind of players do you think will interact with the Kestrel Mark II, and what do you think they'll love about it?
So I'd say the type of players that interact with the ship is the type of players that are sort of looking for something that's really, really nimble and fast.
Okay.
I think that's what they're going to really love about it. One of the things I like about it.
Yeah. So I mean, it can turn. It can sort of adjust its heading pretty well, it seems. But what they said, what the younger gentleman, Michal, what's his name? It's a new guy. I don't think it's his name. Michal Stanieski. But wait, we have a Michal in Discord. Has he gotten a job at FDEF, guy? Has Michal gotten a job at FDEF? Like, what do you know of? Yeah, now we gotta make some fun of him. But anyway, Michal is describing basically the boost multiplier effect, right? That some ships have different boost multipliers, which change basically the way your ship handles under boost, and then also kind of flip back into how the ships handle when it comes off a boost. The FDL notoriously has a very high boost multiplier, which is one of the reasons the FDL handles so well, and one of the reasons the FDL is popular in PvP is because it has a high boost multiplier. So I don't know if they gave it a boost multiplier that is as high as the FDL or even higher than the Further Lance. But if they did, I mean, a Cobra Mark V with an even higher boost multiplier, that'd be a freaking effing amazing thing to fly.
It also looked to me like the lateral and like the directional thrusts are also very strong on that ship.
I mean, it's meant to be that way, but that's a really, really hard thing to measure just by looking at how things handle. Like, I'm trying to get a hold of this particular clip.
With
like,
other
you can
small
see here.
ships.
I think this is FAO.
Their answer to all the others.
So what kind of players do you think will interact with the Kestrel Mark II, and what do you think they'll love about it?
So I'd say the type of players that interact with the ship is the type of players that are sort of looking for something
that's
really, really nimble and fast.
So this is not FA off, by the way. These guys are not flying FA off.
I'm telling you, they designed this ship to basically handle like FA off without FA off. So, like maneuverability-wise, at least. He's not even on the blue zone.
Is he on boost? I'm trying to see if he's on boost. Like, what's the
speed, by the way? Couple of points there, right? Look at the left hand side of the HUD. You got 2 Mark II multi-cannons, so that proves that you can mount more than one. Second is look at the distro load. The description we've been given so far is the boost multiplier affects mobility of the ship, but we got 4 pips to WEPs, 2 pips to engine, nothing is assist. WEPs is drawn fully on just those 5 weapons.
That is not good. That is not
good. But we also don't know if this is engineered or not, because when they showed off the Caspian, it was not engineered.
Yeah, that might be true.
I would believe what they are showcasing is probably the Stellar Edition, which is just, basically A-rated stuff. That's usually, like, I think that's what they did.
Let's look at this combat phase again, because I also want to look at the speed of this thing. And I'm trying to look at it on this small screen that I have, like, putting on a small screen, so I'm kind of moving back and forth. I know it looks weird, but give me a sec. So let's look at this.
The company to compete as well with other small combat ships. This is their answer to all the others.
So what kind of players do you think will interact with the Kestrel Mark II, and what do you think they'll love about it?
So I'd say the type of players that interact with the ship is the type of players that are sort of looking for something that's really, really nimble and fast. I think that's what they're going to really love about it.
So I think that was a boost. And if you see the boost goes from 270 or something to 405.
I'd say the type of players that interact with the ship is the type of...
But and that turn is pretty tight, actually. Before the boost, that turn is really tight. And the lateral acceleration that he gets in FA on, which is limited, by the way, as far as lateral acceleration is concerned, that he gets... Like, that is really
looking for something that's really, really nimble and fast. I think that's what they're going to really love about it. One of the things I like about it is when I first discovered it.
Yeah, this is that's a lot of. Let's look at the distro again for 1 second.
I wish you come up with if you'd worked on something like the Eagle and the Vulture.
It's a good way for the company to compete as well with other small combat ships. This is their answer to all the others.
So what kind of players do you think will interact with the Kestrel Mark II, and what do you think they'll love about it?
So I'd say
This guy is shooting multi-cannons for a few seconds here, right up to here.
the type of players that interact with the ship is the type of players that are sort of looking for something that's really, really nimble.
And he's basically empty already. He's empty by the time he switches to like his head-up display. He's empty, and he's got.
I would like to know.
Those are freaking pulse lasers. They're not even beams. Those are freaking.
I would like to know if
and multi-cannons, and he's empty on distro. Oh man,
I would
sucks.
like to know if he had 4 weapon pips all the time here, or if he just switched to 4 weapon pips shortly before the camera switch.
So this guy got 1 gimbaled, and I don't know, it doesn't show the icon. I would imagine those are also gimbaled multi-cannons. I don't know why it doesn't show the icon, by the way. Maybe they're fixed. Yeah, this looks, distro-wise, this looks terrible, guys. This might be a class 4 or even a class 3 power distributor. I guess I'd give it a class 4 like the Cobra, but maybe it's not engineered, and maybe blah, and maybe blah. But this guy's flying around on 4 weapon pips, firing pulse lasers and multi-cannons, and he's all dry. Without even firing all the time, at least based on the clip that we saw it coming in here.
I just logged into my alt to jump on a PA crate to see whether firing the plasma accelerators, because their plasma slug, would generate the same effect in terms of an even
fuel consumption.
Fuel consumption. It didn't.
It didn't. See, I wasn't dreaming like that. That is a new effect. I've never seen it before. I guess I would have seen it, but it has to be that because it happens when firing, right? So, but why? Because like, you know, like that fuel indicator is basically directly tied to megawatts in use of power grid, and then it has a multiplier depending on whether you're in normal space, you're in super cruise, or you're using super cruise overcharge. That's how the system works in the game today. The fact that it's spiking now that someone's firing plasma slug, that's a new system. It just isn't in the game right now, right?
It's possible it's an oversight from coding, but given the lateness of the materials, I suspect it's not.
Yeah, I guess not.
I think it is a dev version to help the dev to see if it's.
Oh, maybe it's a debug. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it is just on the test server. There are some things that happen only on the test service. I would know, but yeah. Okay. Cool. All right, what else is there to say about the Kestrel? I'm trying to think about if there's anything else, but I think that's about it, right?
It's about time Core Dynamics got on this overpowered ARC ship train. It is beyond due. And I don't care that it's ugly. If it's as good as everyone is saying it's going to be, it will be fantastic.
So, Xeno, are you buying the Stellar edition of this thing?
It entirely depends on what the final.
Oh, it depends.
What the final stats.
So you're not a Core Dynamics fan, right? Because a Core Dynamics fan would say, yeah, of course I'm buying the Stellar edition. I'm buying 4 of them.
I would, but only if I'm actually going to use it.
On the spot. Like, but yeah, no,
expectations.
You of all people should buy the Stellar edition. Maybe not 4 of them, but at least 1 of a new Core Dynamics ship.
I've skipped a lot of ARC's ships for purchase, but I'll probably get this one when it's released, and I'm just going to call it a plesiosaur.
Yeah. And then after, okay, anything else, guys, that you think we should talk about on the Kestrel, or should we talk about the other stuff in the roadmap?
I just think it looks pretty.
Yeah, it does look pretty. Yeah, I agree.
I think it's 4 utility slots, right?
I think they took inspiration from well, skimmers for sure. But it took inspiration from the F-35, clearly. I think the front of a ship looks like F-35 in lines and design. And the rear and these kind of like mega vents look a little bit like the Avengers flying aircraft carrier. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
The Triskelion?
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
I think that's the name of it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's some of our
challenge for us and for our director Chris. But
I also don't find it that ugly, as some people say.
We came up with a really nice final result.
Yeah, I think the shape is. I don't know. I don't like the engine part, the behind. To be honest,
absolutely great. One thing that stands out is
But the winglets, like the wings, they're kind of cool. I like them.
Yeah,
I'll give you this. It's not a Gudamaya design, so it can't be that bad. But it just doesn't. It doesn't quite feel core dynamics.
Does it come in all white? Is the real question. Like, can make it look imperial, but no, it looks. It does look cool. Oh, look at that! Look at that maneuver, by the way. Look at that! Look at that!
We've added some animation to those.
That turn
so
is quite something.
The thrusters themselves gimbal as the ship rotates and pitches. The thrusters themselves move a little bit to give some subtle animation.
Yeah, this is cool.
And it sort of gives a nice little
also, keep in mind.
Well.
Look at this! Look at this maneuver pulling up and about.
Because it's really important for us.
With a boost, that's on boost. You can hear it.
Yeah, they are boosting. Yeah. Also, the engines are lighting up that way. It's definitely boost.
Since one of the uniques.
So anyway, we got.
I'm a fan. I can't wait to buy one and engineer it.
Also, keep in mind, in my opinion, they purposefully designed some of the new ships with selling ship kits for them in mind. So it might be that some of the ship kits for this ship also make it look, very different. Maybe more likable for some people.
Maybe
100%.
All right, then anything else on the Kestrel? Otherwise, I think we can move to the other stuff on the roadmap. Going once, going twice. All right, that's it for the Kestrel then. Then Roger Bennett came on and talked about colonization. I don't think he announced anything. I think he basically celebrated the introduction of colonization and all the hard work his team has done on colonization, which I have to say is remarkable. I mean, you can say what you want about colonization, and like, it certainly has its pros and cons, but they got it to a good place after a lot of work and like a year of on and off and drama. And there's
definitely one big con to colonization, which we might come to later down the roadmap. So let's go to the roadmap.
Yeah, we'll get to the roadmap. So anyway, that was Roger celebrating colonization, and then we get to operations. Right, operations is the next big feature and whatnot. Oh, yeah. And I thought it was funny that they mentioned at some point in the clip that they, quote, will respect players' time, which for Elite Dangerous is such a statement.
They sort of went back on that again, and then they said that, we understand that players from different time zones will want to play together.
No, I don't think he said time zones. I think he said different regions in the galaxy.
Yeah, sorry, regions, yeah.
Yeah, that's
the
thing.
Respect for players' time retroactive?
Yeah, I wish. Free engineering unlocks for everybody and materials on a monthly basis. Yeah, you can dream. No, I don't think that it's going to be retroactive. But they did talk about basically people being able to participate in operations from anywhere in the galaxy, which to me means that it's like going to be like a system a little bit like multi-crew. Or something, or whatever multi-crew like.
I think it's gonna be like CQC.
Yeah, it's like CQC, exactly, right. You basically dock at a megaship or whatever operations terminal, and then you basically sort of form a lobby of some kind. I hope it's better than a CQC lobby, because if they use the CQC lobby technology for operations, guys, I mean, it's like. And for those who will not be familiar with CQC, which is close quarter combat, it's now a separate game mode of Elite Dangerous. The queuing system and the lobby system is so broken. It's like so badly broken. It's like not even funny. Yeah, no, I hope it's not gonna be CQC lobby queuing system. I hope they kind of redesign that. I actually hope that they bring whatever new lobby system they make for operations back to CQC, because if CQC didn't have such a broken matchmaking system, it would actually be fun on occasion, I will say. But anyway, it sounds like you will basically be like logging into these whatever terminals or megaships or whatever, and then you're gonna be able to form, I think, teams of 4. Like this is all wing based, right? You can play up to 4 people in each operation, it sounds like. And they talked about kind of specializing roles. So I'd imagine you'd want to bring somebody with a Maverick who can like cut through doors and stuff. and somebody with dominators that can actually shoot things and survive as a kind of frontliner
scenario content. So we wanted something for players to be able to play with their friends, and one of the main things is we wanted them to be able to get into it really easily. So as long as they've got access to a port somewhere in the galaxy, they can join it with their friends, and they can enter the operation.
Is there a class that makes on-foot content fun?
Well, that I don't know. I mean, look, I don't know if it's about the class. I think it's more about the gameplay loop. So, I mean, when they talk about credits, I mean, their first answer of credits made me gasp because they said, the first answer was like, oh, of course there's credits. And I was like, no, credit rewards for gameplay. Like, but then they expand on that a bit. And I think here's what they have to say on rewards. Where is it? Like,
challenge for players, but a challenge that they sort of set for themselves. So there'll be different levels of difficulty between the operations, and there'll be different types of operations at different lengths. So players basically get to pick and choose how they interact with it and what they play with their friends.
Fine.
So what's on offer for players when they complete operations? What rewards are available?
Yeah, so players that successfully complete an operation, they'll get credits and some other standard rewards, but also upon completing of an operation, they will get a new in-game currency.
So a new in-game currency, not that we needed another new in-game currency since we have ARCs, credits, engineering materials, like you name it. But now we're going to get another currency. Fine, whatever. New currency. What can we do with a new currency?
That they can spend on modules with unique effects.
So modules with unique effects. Now this one got my attention because modules with unique effects could be access to like the pre-engineered modules that are only given away via community goals. It could also mean that you get, I don't know, a thermal vent mining lance or things like that, which, you know, could be completely useless. However, this one got my attention. This was like, okay, let's see what module with unique effects means, because this could be interesting. Then let's see.
New engineering blueprints.
New engineering blueprints. Now this one really got my attention. New engineering blueprints. What is that? By the way, is it for space or for on foot? Because on foot, I mean, the idea of having, you know, jump even higher and do a backspin kind of blueprint doesn't necessarily excite me that much. However, if you, for instance, gave me long range like Gauss cannons, well, now you'd have my attention too. Again, I think we need more information on that. Let's see what else they say.
Mods for their on-foot weapons and armor.
Mods for the on-foot weapons and armor. This is just, I don't know, like night vision or whatever else. I mean, this is all good and fine, but they really, really, really need to let you, at the very least, overwrite modules on your weapons and suits. I mean, the idea that you have to re-engineer a grade 5 suit entirely because you put in a module that eventually you regretted having in there is just poor game design. Right? Give me all the modules you want, but let me, I don't want anything back. Let me just lose the materials. I don't care. But don't make me re-engineer a whole suit just because I can't remove a module. It's like, the whole point of a module is that it's modular. You should be able to add it and remove it. But no, you can't remove it. So not even destroying it. It's just stuck there forever. And if you want to reconfigure a suit, you have to make a new suit. That's not modularity, at least not how I understand it. But anyway.
Armor and a few other things as well.
What was armor? Something other thing? Few other things as well. Like, I love the few other things as well.
Prints, mods for their on-foot weapons and armor.
And mods for their on-foot and weapons and armor. That's just mods. Mods for weapons and armor. That's fine.
Other things as well.
Other things as well. Other things as well is always interesting. Like, other things as well. What is that? No idea.
Operations fit into the world of Elite Dangerous.
Yeah, so one of the sort of opportunities we realized that we had when we were making operations was to tie it into power play. So
this is fantastic. So I don't know how you interpret this, guys, but I mean, listen to this again, and then I'll comment on what he just said here. Like.
Yeah, so one of the sort of opportunities we realized that we had when we were making operations was to tie it into power play. So obviously...
So this to me sounds like, hey, my boss came about and he told me that the marketing department said that we really needed to tie this into Power Play 2.0. And so we did. Like, it's probably kind of half-baked, but, you know, it checks the box. That's how I read it. What do you guys have a similar read, or did you hear something different?
I don't know. I just think they're banking the current gameplay loop on power play, given the death of the AX war. Everything's got to tie back to it as the main concurrent theme.
Any other thoughts on this one? Go ahead, James.
I think power play, the tie-in is absolutely necessary, because without it, if you just have a new shooter in Elite Dangerous, I don't see how that really competes with shooters outside the game. But that's just me, like, as an Arc Raiders player, as a somebody who's interested in the Marathon game coming up, this really doesn't steal my attention all that much. But if it was tied into power play as another way to earn those advancement, then that would be something I could consider.
It might be coincidence, but I've been playing a bit of Helldivers lately with friends outside of Elite Dangerous, and these changes seem to be almost comparative to Helldivers, like the way that you get your squad together as a group of 4 from a remote location, the way that the goals of the team contributes in a small way to the moving of the needle in the Greater War. And also, in Helldivers, when you purchase upgrades for your equipment or your armor, they're only incremental upgrades, so you might have a carbine, but you can use your medals to buy a sniper carbine. So it the idea of a separate currency for minor weapons upgrades is sort of comparable.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I think in general, Elite is a terrible first-person shooter. Let's be candid. Compared to
and that kind of leads into a concern I have. When they initially announced Operations, they said it was going to involve ship and on foot. But all they've seemed to show so far is on foot.
You hit the nail on the head. Exactly. They said, we're combining on foot and space, but all the footage they've shown of Operations is people boarding mega ships and restoring power generators and like basically doing missions in a group of 4. Like that's what
it sounds like I am not going to be able to do Operations at all, because I basically only play Elite in VR, and playing on foot in VR
like you get a blank screen. Yeah, you get
it's the worst. There's no point in even trying, in my opinion.
It's also the thing somebody in chat earlier mentioned when we were talking about how to queue for it, that apparently they show a short clip here where you go to Frontline Solutions to queue into the operation.
Oh, where? Do you have a timestamp?
No, I didn't see any timestamp, no.
I saw that they were boarding here. They were kind of walking somewhere, but I didn't see they were going front.
Or they can do them with...
Yeah, so this is also another point.
This is some command.
So I think the theme of like many of these operations is so there isn't like separate space operations and separate on-foot operations, but it's both. So like you go in your ship, you attack a mega ship, and then you dock and board it on foot. So that's like what I've seen. And I think that's what they announced in the original operations announcement. They did say it's hybrid. So like it's both.
I hope they have something that's like end game challenging. So, but like I don't know. They said you need to be a station to do operations that I caught, and it's launched from Frontline Solutions carrier. No, it can't be a carrier. It's got to be like you mean a desk or something like. But yeah, I get
no, maybe no. Carrier? Wait,
a different
if it's the hybrid. If it is the hybrid system that we are talking about you come in ships and then you raid the mega ship and then you board it, maybe your squad gets basically teleported in your ships to a Frontline Solutions carrier that then attacks something.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
They showed something like docking at a ship I didn't recognize immediately.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have it here.
Because if it is a lobby system that teleports you somewhere, then you there needs to be a spot where you get teleported, right? I don't think you want to spawn in open space. So maybe
sometimes you do want to spawn in open space, like when there's 700 people trying to kill you. But those are special circumstances. Is it? I was trying to see if they could. Where was there? Find that we're docking into a ship. I can't find it anymore. This is like showing the 4 point of view
of the larger scale and another group of the smaller scale. They'll both be coming at launch. And then after launch, obviously, we'll monitor player feedback as we do with all of our
you basically get teleported in your own little lobby, and then you launching the op from a frontline solutions carrier. There was some footage earlier where they showed something that looked like another squadron carrier or whatever, like a mumbo jumbo mixed carrier thing.
I didn't recognize that. I'm trying to see if I can find it. Is it?
Seems like
no, this is him. This is the Kestrel.
This looks like CQC. Yeah.
Where is it? It's a Panther Clipper. Is this it? Something at the beginning.
So
maybe.
yeah,
no, this is again Trailblazers. They showed it somewhere. I'm trying to remember where. Right. Oh, here's the Kestrel stuff. Is this it?
I'm really excited.
No, this is.
Hibiki says it's just before they talk about operations.
Just before we
just
talk
before
about
that.
So right here, I guess, at the end of Roger's section. This is. There you go. This is it. Frontline. There you go. Frontline solutions. So this is a frontline solutions carrier. This is it, I think.
Yeah. Which does make sense, I guess, as a launching point from the operations where your team spawns.
Yeah, this is a frontline solutions carrier, which I guess is where you get teleported to start the operation or something.
Yeah, that would be my guess. Yeah, and then it's hybrid, like you assault a mega ship or whatever, and then you board it after that.
And this is like kind of a new design, right? Because this is like a mega ship with nacelles, with docking ports on the nacelles. I've never seen this design before in the game, right? Have you guys ever seen this?
No, this is the carrier, and it's made up of existing. So that was the frontline solutions carrier, and it's just made up of existing
carrier pieces.
Carrier pieces. Yeah, just like the stronghold carriers.
Yeah.
Basically.
I see.
It's just like mixed together, which I think is a fair reuse of assets, right? I think that's very fair. I don't mind that.
So Operations is coming out in April. This Kestrel is going to be released February 26th, so like a week and change from now, which is nice. Sooner than I thought they would, which is nice. And which means it's going to be in creator access for like really next week. Save surprises. And then they talk about a feature. I don't know where they talk about it, but I think this was, I believe, way earlier. It was. No, it wasn't Gauthier. It was.
So I've seen some grumbling online about the implementation of the operations timescale. Back last year during the roadmap, it was talked about being ready in September. Then it was going to be January this year. Now we're talking about April.
I mean, they're going to be done when they're going to be done. That's just normal.
That's just normal FDev behavior. Yeah, it's not. Anyone who expects it to be on time is expecting too much.
Yeah, it's clearly never worked in IT. You're expecting a project to be delivered on time and on budget.
So one thing is interesting. Yeah. So one thing I think was interesting, they talk about a feature rework later in the roadmap, which is I think here at some point or not. Phase 4.
And the team will be looking at a core system of the game, which is impacting many aspects of the game itself. Really excited about this one, I will say. It's been in my books for a while.
So I love to hear yours sort of, and now we're kind of sort of totally tinfoil hatting, speculating, based on how they're talking about it and reading the tea leaves, noting I don't have any leaks or some kind of insider information or anything like that. I think they're talking about the background simulation. I think they're talking about.
Agreed.
Everybody's in this, yeah. Anybody disagree or have a different suggestion?
No, it doesn't look like it.
I mean, I'm trying to find
maybe engineering
so I can hear exactly what he says.
You want to see exactly what he says. So I think it's less about what Gauthier says, it's more about
and, how to fix things the best way, the most appropriate way. Trying to see a little bit what players have been doing with that system for a while. So yeah, hopefully we're going to have more to say about that in the year. But yeah, this one is it's a favorite.
Yeah, it's a sort of it's deeply situated within the actual core of Elite, and I think we've been looking at it for quite some time and just thinking this needs a bit of TLC. So we're going to go back and have a look at that, and there'll probably be some new features built on around it, which would be very cool. And then beyond that, obviously we've got some story that we're.
Okay, and then he goes into the sort of Radicoida war story with the blue trees.
It definitely sounds like the descriptors used would match the BGS system.
Right. I mean, they've been looking at it for a very long time, and we know that the whole rework from the player-managed faction has been in the works for 2.5 years now, right? It actually started before the Fargoid War, so actually more like 3 years. Yeah, so Hibiki's suggesting Terra Presence, but Terra Presence is not embedded with a core of elite at all. Like, it doesn't meet that definition of, like, deeply ingrained system in the core of elite. Like, BGS does, Terra Presence does not. Terra Presence is like a
Terra Presence is the most tucked on gimmick that is unloved.
Exactly. It's like,
no, that's what I mentioned earlier about BGS regarding the roadmap, regarding colonization, which kind of ties into colonization, because they simply need to overhaul BGS, this core feature of the game that they have, because they absolutely broke it with colonization.
Yeah, colonization destroyed BGS, like made a complete disaster of it. Like, totally agree. Not only that, but it was badly broken before that. It kind of breaks on a weekly basis with the ticks not working and whatnot anyway. And the way BGS works kind of really sucks, right? I mean, I played with BGS for a little bit as I was always playing with colonization, and man, it's like the most painful system to like make system change control from one faction to another. It's like weeks of manipulating, influence, missions, and like undermine. It's like it's terrible. And I mean, the cool thing was it was tied to player managed factions, but about half of player-managed factions in the game are effectively defunct, totally sort of abandoned things, but nobody even knows where they originated or came from. And then there's a few active groups, like, you know, the Fatherhood has a few, and like we have the Anti-Xeno Initiative BGS faction, which is still managed and maintained, so that's fine. But yeah, there's also so many that are just completely abandoned. And right now, by the way, that actually should tie into squad. I mean, the interconnectedness of it all is, in my mind, in highlight, because that thing is directly tied to squadrons that they just overhauled with vanguards, but didn't touch BGS almost at all. It ties to power play indirectly, because like those factions tied to superpowers. Superpowers are part of the power play ecosystem. It ties to vanguards, because like again, for the secondary benefit you have in vanguards, the controlling faction matters, right? You get the secondary benefit based on the controlling faction. And then it ties into colonization, because based on the government type, which means a controlling faction of a system, you have certain goods that are produced and certain other goods that are not produced. The legality of goods depends on the controlling faction of a station. So it ties to the entire game. And it's really badly abandoned by sort of from a development standpoint. So my guess is we're looking at BGS. I may be wrong.
I am very positive that it has to be. As you said, it ties into everything. It also, to me, it appears like there's also potential for it to tie even more into everything with how they set up vanguards and like the reward system and that menu that you have. Also, what I wanted to mention with player manufactions earlier, that system is also pretty much closed, right? Like new people cannot create PMFs.
You cannot create new player-made factions. They shut that down like
long time
3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Yeah, I think it was 2023 or something. Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna go and find. See if I can go and find the post where they talk about it, because it's actually what they say in that post. Announcement.
Also, to me, it seemed like either colonization with like system architects or the Vanguard system with like the selection screen UI of the minor faction. Like, to me, it seems like they could tie it into basically an automated system to create a player minor faction based on your squadron, possibly, if they wanted to, if they fix BGS, which, I mean, we all hope that they do, right?
Yeah.
So they could create an automated system where it creates a player minor faction via your squadron, basically, your vanguard, that you then, select also for your allegiance, kind of. I thought at least.
Closed in April. They're closed in April of 2023. So that I've managed to figure. I'm trying to find the actual announcement because the language in that announcement was telling. Where is the link? It was on the Frontier website. See if I can set site frontier.com. Oh, .co.uk. Reopening, visit Frontier Forums, issue details, news. No, I can't find it. At least not quickly, not easily.
Also, may I just mention that I am very pessimistic about if they want to do a whole overhaul of the BGS system and like the architecture and the background that they are gonna deliver this year.
Oh,
Just
no,
like
no way.
operation.
The earliest it's getting here is January 2027, and that's being optimistic.
Yeah.
We're probably looking at late 2027 if it's actually a rework of BGS entirely.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we will see. We will see what they call an quote-unquote complete overhaul, right? Because, I mean, we know what happened between Power Play 1.0 and Power Play 2.0. So, we will see what that complete overhaul of, if it is BGS, actually, ends up being.
I found it.
I have hope.
It took me a while,
because I do know some BGS peeps that are very invested in BGS, and yeah, they did absolutely get run over by colonization. So I very much hope for these peeps that it is BGS and that FDev manages to fix BGS and actually makes it better with an overhaul. I very much hope so for them. But yeah, let's see what we can find.
So, back to sources. The real data, the real facts. Update 15, 23rd of March of 2023. Blah, 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 blah. Player-made factions, applications closing. This is when they announced it. So, in March of 2023. So, player-made factions have played a key role in expressing blah, blah, blah. The goal is this goal is at the heart of our plans for Elite and reflected in the Fargoid War. Our focus is now turning to investigating how upcoming systems will allow every player and player group to have a meaningful impact on the galaxy's landscape. This means that we will be closing applications for player-managed factions. However, we will process any remaining applications. Fine. So, in March of 2023, they basically said, we're shutting the system down as far as like new things are concerned. And then they obviously took it in the direction of the Fargoid War and eventually colonization with Trailblazers. But they never came back to the core system of BGS, which remains to this day in a bit of an abysmal state. In fact, as someone in this call was pointing out, maybe Xeno was you, like the introduction of Trailblazers colonization has broken the system even worse. Like now, controlling expansion is effectively impossible at the faction level. Because there's going to be some rounded number of systems that are above 70%, and who knows how it's going to be picked, which system you're going to expand upon. So whoever is managing BGS factions has a nightmare of a job if they have more than like a handful of systems that they control to be able to control what systems they expand from and where they expand to, which was already complicated before Trailblazers came about. So anyway, that's why I think BGS is a good candidate to be the sort of next big feature in Phase 4 in autumn, as I described. And like all things that are in Phase 4 at the beginning of a year, guys, this is never going to be autumn, right? If we're lucky, it ends up moving to December at the end of the year. But chances are this is one thing that moves like way straight into 2027 is my guess. But I mean, at least the way that we're talking about it, they weren't describing anything major, so who knows? It sounds like their focus is more on vessels and ships, right? They're launching 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus the Kestrel, 6 ships this year. That's more than last year.
2 in summer, 2 in one phase.
Yeah,
that's some solid revenue.
Yeah, I mean, it's the least controversial, and it's the most accepted. Like, imagine, I mean, feel the backlash they had with the Doe deck, right? It's a terrible idea, by the way. Like, just awful. So
just the notion of mentioning that it would be paywalled forever instead of early access was the, like, you know, what broke the camel's back.
But even without the forever paywall, even just with the, you know, 40-hour grind or 60-hour grind skip, it's just terrible. I hate that concept.
Yeah, it's not good.
But yeah,
there's
early access ships, no, it's good. I like it. You know, more of this, please.
If they are fairly balanced.
But even if they're broken, I don't care. Like, OP is fun, you know. Push the game into new things. Like, just make harder content. Like, give us a Fargoid. What's the name of, like, Drullo's crazy purple hyper Fargoid? What do he name it?
The Kraken.
Well,
for us
PvE,
bring out the Kraken Fargoid. Like, you know, we want the Kraken.
Unfortunately, not only is AX not on the back burner, it's not even in the kitchen right now.
Yeah, I mean, for us PvE players,
they haven't even mentioned AX at all. Yeah.
I mean, for us PvE players, it's probably more fun with the if they are like too strong, the ships. But the PvP players do have issues if ships are completely broken. So, you know, balance is an important point, at least in some aspects of the game. So it would be nice if they are not all completely broken.
Yeah.
But also it looked like the distro is not that strong on the ship, maybe. Turns out. So maybe.
So I feel that the distro is going to be a little bit of I'm going to call it a Type 11 moment, which is this ship is going to come out in early access. The creators are going to start using it. People who actually know how to fly in Elite Dangerous, like Rain Man, are going to just make hilarious fun of how bad the power distributor is of a ship and how crippled it is and how much it sucks. And Frontier is going to say, okay, we actually want to sell these. So you know what? And typically what they do in those situations is they completely over-rotate, right? So basically, everybody's going to come out and say Class 4 sucks. And so what Frontier is going to do, if they do something, which they probably will, because whenever they're selling things, they do things, is they're going to say, okay, we hear you, Class 4 sucks, have a Class 6, right? It's just going to be crazy
Hopefully,
OP.
that'd be amazing.
It's going to be crazy OP, right? This thing of it, like, we give you a chieftain with better convergence, with, like, better hard points. Yeah, no, it's going to be... I think that's going to happen. It's my prediction or estimate.
I'm not going to complain about having more ships. But what I will say is, at the moment, there's a fair bit of clutter in the ship buying menu.
Yeah, and there's also some ships that honestly are just, you know, honestly could use some reimagination. Like, I don't know, what's the role in the meta of the Scout? What's the role in the meta of the Keelback? What's the role in the meta of the Cobra Mark IV? I mean, there are some ships that just, candidly, right now don't have a reason to exist other than basically because you decide you want to do something for the sake of doing it. And I don't know. I mean, I think even without going through the whole process of developing one of these new 6 ships, I think you could easily say, hey, you know, whatever, like the Laken engineers have gone back and refitted Asp Scouts to do something, to jump 200 light years, God knows what. They suck at everything else, but they jump really far. That would be interesting, I think.
Well, stuff like, so you look at the Clipper, right? The big fundamental problem with the Clipper is the convergence on the hard points. And if this was real life, bearing in mind we're engineering our ships ourselves, if this was real life, you just send someone out on the wing with a hammer and knock the convergence in a few degrees.
Yeah.
And just keep hitting it with a hammer until it lines up with the other one.
You know, yeah, exactly. Like, dun, 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 like move his gun so it points actually to something you want to shoot at 1,500 meters instead of 20,000 kilometers away. Yeah, no, I agree. But
so it wouldn't take much to reinvigorate some of the older ships, and I think, you know, given the power creep that we've got in the newer ones, some of the older ones need a quality of life pass.
No, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Or like, you know, I mean, you guys remember how the Mamba overheated when you even boosted when it originally launched? Like, you basically ended up taking heat damage just by boosting the Mamba. Like, and then they kind of fixed that, but even now, the Mamba is also kind of underwhelming. Like, it's not as fast as a race ship it's meant to be. And again, it's got, you know, weapon convergence issues, and it's got all kind of issues. It's a great clean dries Titan bomber, obviously, but yeah, no, that was not our most successful build. But whatever. Back to the roadmap. So 6 vessels. What ships do you think are these vessels going to be? So we have a small fighter coming out. We know that. What about the other 5? What do you think is coming?
I see a lot of people wanting a large combat ship.
Large combat.
I don't know if they... I don't see a reason why they wouldn't, because they've already said that they'll charge more for large ships, so it seems more worth it. I imagine the amount of work that goes into a small ship and the amount of work that goes into designing a large ship is not really that big of a gap. Especially since they don't seem to really be trying very hard to keep it balanced.
People are saying South Kruger medium. South Kruger medium.
Yes, I've seen like a transportation passenger ship very often as a wish on the wish list.
I mean, who does passenger missions in this game?
I don't know. I don't know, but I've seen
They'd have to do a pass on passenger missions as a whole to justify a new ship for it, in my opinion.
Well,
yeah.
I was wondering, going back to the BGS issue, if Robigo runs are still a thing, because, you know, as a new player, Robigo is one of those kickstarts to, you know, getting some credits.
Robigo was murdered by colonization, I think, for the most part. I mean, I think you still have the Cirrus atmospheric strip to a degree, but I was reading it's not nearly as good as it used to be.
Yeah, you can still do CR2 runs, but targets are spread over more systems, so there's just fewer missions.
Oh yeah,
I think
it needs some DLC.
Yeah,
it's
I think
not as ingrained into everything, like, so I don't think it's a feature that they're talking about. But yeah, tourism definitely needs some attention.
Definitely.
But I get it. I think having a South Kruger medium, it's a clear gap in the lineup, right? There's no medium passenger ship. There's the Orca and Beluga, which are large ships, even though the Orca should really be the medium, but it isn't. And then you have a Dolphin as the small. Am I missing one? Am I missing one of the South Kruger lineup? I don't think so. No, it's those 3. So, like, yeah, having a medium transport ship, but I don't know what you would use it for. I don't think it would sell very well. So, but maybe. I mean, from a functional lineup.
Some people do like aesthetics, and you have to say the South Kruger ships, they do look kind of nice.
Well, see,
cool.
I take a slightly different angle to all of this and see if I can find it. But I think Inara has the actual list of ships that people have in their hangars, which is the galactic data. Where is it? Ships and outfitting. Ships.
South Kruger's run pretty cool as well. I used an Orca for my Titan Diver for materials gathering back in the days of AGF.
I thought I found on Inara somewhere like a list of like what are the most popular ships that people have.
Yeah, I do remember seeing that. It was like a bar graph.
Traffic report, factions report. No, it's a security report. Bounty hunters, blah 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 blah. Maybe I can find it if I look rankings, spelling board, community goals.
So while Meccan's looking for that, one thing we haven't mentioned so far is races. I know there's a small racing community, and there's been nothing to touch a Cobra 3 for a long time.
Cobra 3?
Yeah.
Well, there's Cobra 5.
You mean the Viper?
You mean Viper?
Sorry, Viper 3. The 913 meters a second.
Yeah, Viper. Now, let's go back to that one, because I think that you might be onto something there. Wait. So anyway, this is the statistics of ships from Inara, and there's the total ships that people have in their hangars, and then equally as important in my mind, there's ships set as main, which is basically people's way of saying, hey, this is my favorite ship. So the most popular favorite ships are actually the large ships. In particular, the Feather Corvette is the most popular main ship, with the Anaconda being second. Now, the Anaconda obviously can be many things. It's a multi-role ship. It can be a Jumpaconda. It can be a billion different things. But more often than not, the Anaconda is a PvE combat ship in builds that are popular, I think. My Anaconda is a Railconda. It's a PvE build. Actually, I have two. One is sort of legacy, sort of Spire side killer, but that one hasn't been gathering dust.
To be honest, I believe for many people, I believe for most elite players, the Anaconda is just their like universal exploration ship, and then they stop playing, kind of, and it's still that. Before the new ships.
Look at the Asp Scout I was talking about. Poor child. Now, the Cobra Mark IV is a limited ship. This is only available for pre-order, so it's kind of a bit of a different thing. But the Asp Scout, like, first of all, if you main a Cobra Mark IV, I want to meet you. Like, please, if you are in the stream and you've set the Cobra Mark IV as your favorite, as your main ship, speak up, because I need to understand your thought process for doing that. I actually appreciate who set the Asp Scout as their main ship better, because it's at least it's like even more particularly hilarious. But if you are among the 3% of Inara commanders who have set the Cobra Mark IV as their main ship on Inara, and you didn't misclick, which I would, you didn't confuse a Cobra Mark V or a Cobra Mark IV misclicking, then we want to hear from you. We want to hear your rationale for doing that. Yeah, it is unique. I get that, but if you fly as that as your kind of main ship, we gotta talk. We gotta talk. But anyway, back to the point I was making, which then I totally got sidetracked. The Corvette is the most popular main ship. It is popular enough. It's like number whatever 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever, 10 or 11. Which I think is only not higher because it's locked behind the Fed grind, but it's iconic, and it is the most popular ship or main ship of 15% of the player base, more than any other ship, and almost half as more popular than the number 2 ship, which is the Anaconda. So based on this data, and believe me, Frontier has some of its data, maybe not as good as Inara has. I actually think Inara has better data than Frontier for some of this stuff, and I don't know if the Frontier guys look at this data, but I do, and we do. My hypothesis is that, yeah, you're going to get a large combat, like, you're going to get a Corvette Mark II or something like that. Like a large combat ship, because they're just so popular. I mean, Corvette is the most popular. Anaconda, which really is the combat ship in this, for purpose of this discussion, is number 3. Number 3 is the Cutter. And number 4 is the far more accessible to most people, because it's not locked behind anything, and it's cheaper and has a lower rebuy and everything, Python, which again, the Python is a medium, but it's like a chunky combat medium. It's also very much a multi-role ship, to be honest. So yeah, my bet is one of the other 5s is going to be a large combat ship. What other things? So we talked about like a medium passenger ship. We talked about a large combat ship. What else do you think we could get?
Racer. Back coming to the Racer from Lloyd.
The what?
Racing ship.
A racing ship? But there's no racing in Elite. And besides the guys at Newton's Gambit, does anybody really do any serious racing? Like with ships?
Hooning around in a fast ship is a lot of fun.
Say again?
Hooning around in a fast ship is a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it is a lot of fun, but not a lot of players do it. That's the thing.
I've never done it.
Right. It's like, I do it, but I think I'm in a huge minority of like people who actually do it.
I've tried it. I fail miserably every time. This FA off.
I think it's a very small group, but I think FDev has kind of embraced them before, because not too long ago they released a whole bunch of paint jobs and ship kits tied to racing. If you like look at the store, there was like a whole bunch of ship kits and paint jobs.
It's true, and there's also the ads and the hangers for what is it, Buckyball Racing?
Yeah, Buckyball.
Yeah, that's SRVs, right?
No, but like
it's still a form of racing.
Alex's thing.
Like last year, literally, it was like they released all these ship kits and paint jobs for racing. Like they all were made for racing. Like if you look at the online shop,
so you convinced me. So medium passenger, large combat, some kind of racing ship. Maybe a racing ship that actually doesn't suck like the Mamba. What else? What else we got? We got 2 more ships to guess.
Another Explo ship, because they seem to be releasing 1 per year.
And I'd suspect a small this time, because a lot of the complaints about the Caspian and the Mandy are about the footprint.
Which is crazy to me, because the Mandalay's footprint is not that bad.
Mandy's like nothing.
Mandalay's pretty good, actually, yeah.
People still complaining about it. I know.
Mandalay is a great ship, by the way. Like, it's really growing on me.
Well, yeah, they had Mandalay for 24. They had Caspian for the very end of 25. So they're due for another exploration ship in 26.
Okay. And by the way, they're super hyped about distant worlds and whatnot. So, like, that's very much in the back of our heads right now. And they should be, because it's like an amazing thing going on. So it's like a really cool thing. Okay, so we got an exploration ship of some kind, to be clarified, a racing ship, a passenger medium, a large combat. What's the last one?
I know, a new SRV. I don't know. Oops, sorry.
Someone did point out that it says vessel, not ship. Yeah.
Ah, good insight. Maybe the Rhino final is coming out. Maybe it's time for the. Maybe that's why in
kind of weird to call
summer. Maybe that's why we get 2 in summer.
That's a good point.
Vessel is like maybe summer is a ship and an SRV,
a hovercraft,
or an SLF. Like having an SLF that doesn't suck. Like someone in the chat is saying that. Like,
or what if it's a new form of like mega ship for players to buy, like a new fleet carrier?
Ooh, that's also thoughtful. Yeah, that could be another type of fleet carrier.
Because they charge quite a bit for fleet carrier skins, and people buy them.
That's true.
I could imagine it's a ship-launched fighter because of operations.
Or a
operations doesn't really use ship-launched fighters. That's the thing.
I mean, it's kind of both, right? I also imagine it's not only assaulting megaships in space and when boarding. I would assume there's also just settlement and whatnot.
I don't know. If there's one thing that hasn't been shown or associated with operations in any shape or form, it's SLF so far, Alex. I've not seen a hint.
I guess.
Of any of that. But anyway, I think you guys are onto something. Like, vessel means probably not just ships. Good point. That's a meaningful change. There's 2 in summer, which probably means that they might be different things coming out together, because I can't see themselves selling 2 ships back to back with one coming out in April in the summer. Would be odd. And so it's probably going to be either a new SRV like the Rhino, or a new mega ship class carrier style, like maybe it's a bulk carrier that, you know, has only 2 landing pads but carries 60,000 tons of crap to your colonies, so that you can, you know, build colonies more efficiently or something like that. It's a good point, actually. Interesting. Cool. Guys, I think we've covered the whole roadmap, right? We talked about the new features. We talked about our operations. We talked about the Kestrel. We made our guesses around the vessels, like with not just ships, but vessels, which are on the roadmap for this year. Anything else that was on the roadmap that was announced that you think we should be chatting about?
AX?
AX? No, that's not on the roadmap. Like, that's the most glaring thing. Is like they abandoned all people who fought Thargoids. They're like, we're done. Like, we are done with Thargoids, apparently. Right.
Well,
unless the Radicoida thing somehow manages to bring the Thargoids back, but there's no hint of that even remotely. So, like,
do you know what would be a fun feature reboot?
The feature reboot is the BGS. I think that's what we were talking about earlier, right?
But it would be nice. I know it's copium, but it would be nice.
If it was AX, yeah, surely. Surely.
Yeah, but that's not so intertwined. It doesn't. Yeah, I mean, it's real copium, that one. Come on, like it's.
I think.
Oh, we've been looking at this for a long time. It's so intertwined with the core systems of a game. I mean, AX is neither, right? Engineering maybe. Now engineering could be. I think BGS is the more likely candidate, but yeah, engineering too is.
Yeah, especially with how well received the rebalance was. I don't think they'd continue looking at it. I feel like FDev is very much the type of company to just wipe their hands from it and leave it if it's not getting too many complaints.
I agree.
I would just like to see just all the engineers you have unlocked and all their experimental just from your carrier or wherever. That's what I would like to see.
Oh, like using pinned things to also.
Well, not even just pin. Just do away with the pin. And just have access to all those
engineers remotely.
Blueprints.
Not have to bounce around.
Remotely.
Yeah, I agree.
It depends a bit on also how far they expand these new engineerings and blueprints that you can do with this operation currency. Like, how do they make it? Like, is it like a kind of shop system? Like, do you unlock this blueprint to use as some engineer? Like, how does it work, right?
Yeah, I'm the way I took it was that the currency is going to be used to unlock those modules, blueprints, whatever for operations. That's what I kind of gleaned from it. So then whether you have access to that remotely or whatever, I would assume it'd be remotely. It'd be kind of a pain in the butt to
maybe, or you get a frontline engineering contact at Frontline Solutions or something. Who knows? No one knows. But one major concern that I had when I heard about this new currency they are planning to introduce with operations is. So the thing is,
sell it for money.
Yes, awesome. FDev is trying to monetize more, and I am afraid
my brain was not that evil.
But I am afraid that they 100%
right. It's like arcs to whatever Beagle points. They should call them Beagle points, by the way. Like
some arcs exchange for the new currency. I could see that happening, and I'm afraid of that. Kind of.
Yeah.
I hope not.
It's almost guaranteed to happen.
But they are actively trying to monetize the game more, so I immediately thought of that being a thing.
And the new CEO of Frontier is former head of marketing, so they would know a thing or two about converting things to cash.
Looking at it from a slightly less cloak and dagger perspective, there's already monetization around on-foot content like suits and hats and stuff like that, and I think if FDev creates a gameplay loop where they've got the commanders engage with each other on foot, they'll see what each other look like. Because at the moment you don't, right? The chances of encountering somebody is astronomical, pun intended. Yes. So if you've got four commanders together on a ship, all of a sudden people will start paying interest in their own aesthetics, and they'll start spending money on arcs for their suit cosmetics and their silly hats.
Yeah, if you don't charge me $50 for a gun skin, maybe. But yeah, I agree.
They got me on the pumpkin skins. That really made me laugh, and I got all 4 of them.
I got the pumpkin skin from the event. I got the pumpkin head from the event. There was like a Halloween event that gave you the pumpkin thing.
Those. There was also this terrible armor that looked like Baymax from like that movie Baymax, if you remember.
No. It looked like the Spy Kids movie when they're in the game.
Oh my god, that's so
terrible.
Was that
Spy Kids 3?
Yes. Oh, wow. Yes, it is so terrible, but
it looks exactly the same, and you cannot convince me otherwise.
Megan, if you want to check the like online store, like on the Frontier website, like I think it's fairly easy to find. We're like on Combat Suit, the cosmetics. It is anybody who wants to look at that. It's there. It's easy to find. It doesn't look good.
So. Net, guys, what do you feel? How do you feel about this 2026 roadmap? What's your verdict on
interesting how it progresses?
My verdict is that it is very vessel heavy, while we are basically getting one feature that was actually supposed to be last year, and then one major feature overhaul that I heavily suspect will not actually happen at the end of the year. So I feel like we are not actually getting a feature meant for this year. This is my verdict.
It's a fair summary. Any other thoughts?
I think they're giving us lots of sandbox toys, but they're not really doing a whole lot to the sandbox.
Yeah.
From my perspective, I don't engage with BGS. I don't engage with power play really. So, if that's the feature reboot that's coming, it's not going to affect me. Operations is interesting, especially from a co-op PvE perspective. That's appetizing, and new ships is always nice. So I'd give it a B.
Yeah.
I'll say what I've always said about FDev. Expect nothing that's promised and expect half of what is.
Okay, so we got 3 ships and one feature.
Yep.
Kind of.
Vessels, 3 vessels, not ships, vessels this year. Good. All right.
Well, it's 4 more, right? Not even 5.
Well,
Operations also comes with another vessel.
It does? Oh, with the...
Yeah, operations and vessel in April.
I see.
And then 2 vessels, and then feature reboot with a vessel, and then...
6 vessels the whole year, so we basically only get 3. That was my math. As bad as my math is. Yeah, I mean, look... I mean, part of me is like, I hope they bring AX back in some shape or form, because like that is my personal favorite gameplay loop. And I get it that they wanted to give the community a bit of a break from Fargo's everywhere, so I understand that. But, it's kind of sad that they just decommissioned Titans and got rid of the war and invasion mechanic, because they were fun. They were actually engaging gameplay. And
hey, what if... maybe I'm on super hard copium right now, okay? But what if the overhaul of the BGS system makes it then easier for FTF to bring invasions or whatever back in whatever form they want to?
Yeah, I mean, I would hope so. It does feel very copium heavy, but it does. I would certainly hope so.
Yeah, they mentioned feature reboot and not overhaul.
Yeah.
So it might
True, they called it reboot
as it was.
Because like right now it looks like we're gonna be basically. There's a Radicoida war. Everybody got bored and got so bored that they all left for Distant Worlds 3. They said, we're so freaking bored of this thing that we're leaving for Distant Worlds, going into a black instead of actually fighting this weird thing for trees, but we don't even understand what they do. There was this huge build-up about this mystery and stuff, and nothing happened. We got some blue trees to go and have a look at, and that was it. And scan them over and over and over again in true elite fashion. And now nothing is happening. And there's no indication that anything will happen. So there's some general hint that the trees tied to some drugs and stuff. So I guess we're getting some kind of on-foot stimulants or bonuses or power-ups. Fine, we'll get some on-foot power-ups.
It's
not gonna make the game that much better. So
yeah.
Yeah, maybe you get maybe you
get a hypo spray or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or darts that you shoot at your teammates.
Exactly, where you can make you run 15% faster or shoot 10% faster, whatever. But I don't think that's going to change the game in any meaningful way, so whatever.
Regeneration sequence assault rifles.
That would be interesting. Yeah, who knows? By the way, it sounds like they're going to have some kind of power-up system for on-foot tied to that narrative arc that they have, which is, I guess, okay. But really far from being game-changing, even with operations coming. And then we're gonna have like a lot of operations related stuff with these boring, at least from how they've shown in today, kind of boring missions that you can do in a group of 4. That is if they work, which they may or may not, considering how broken the netcode is of this game. But let's assume for a moment that they do work, unless they come up with some crazy rewards of new modules and stuff. Then it's gonna be hard to like justify spending much time doing that, because the gameplay loop on foot elite is just bad to begin with. And then they're gonna throw a bunch of new vessels, ships and other stuff at us, which is always welcome. That's good. And then they hopefully will rework BGS in autumn, which really means in 2027. And that's just better late than never in my mind. But yeah, I mean, look, the thing is, the thing about the elite community in my mind is people tend to coalesce around things and events of various kinds that are meaningful to them. The Fargoid War was one such example. Distant Worlds 3 as an expedition is another such example. And there's a number of those. But I don't really see anything like that on the roadmap for this year, which is, I think, a bit of a missed opportunity. But, you know, as always in a sandbox, we create our own stories when the lead developers don't offer us any. So we'll do a bit more of that, I guess, in 2026. All right, guys, I think we covered everything. Thank you for joining me, friends of the Xeno Strike Force, and discussing the 2026 roadmap. Thank you, everybody, for following along. If you have thoughts, as always, gonna drop them in the comments to this video, and we'll do our best to read them all. And glory to mankind. Commander Mechan and the Xeno Strike Force. Over and out. And you guys are welcome to say hello too.
07.
07, everyone.
07.